Namaste. I'm Dr. Chakra This is going to be your monthly reading for the sign of Scorpio, Scorpio Sun, Scorpio Moon, Scorpio Rising. Hopefully you get the message that you've come to receive. Namaste. Spirit, what messages do you have for the sign of Scorpio? The Lovers. Ten of Cups. So have you achieved the self-love that you intend to have? You have the Four of Wands. Congratulations. Three of Swords. Guarding your communication. Guarding your thoughts. Knowing what to expect, how things already have gone in the past, in previous experiences, in tests that have already presented outcomes that you know that was the first outcome, and if that's clarified by the Hermit, may have been with a Virgo. Aquarius. Two of Pentacles. Okay. So it allows you to put into perspective, because you have the Two of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles, instead of becoming a divine masculine, that you actually would love, like the view of you in a more available throat chakra. And then you also would like your solar plexus to match. So knowing how to not be flattered and seem as if you're using flattery at all times, when technically speaking, exactly what is at the hand. You don't want to be embarrassed of your accomplishments, because it's not that they're good or bad, it's just that your divine feminine and masculine is present in every measurement of how you respond to anything. You know, and it's more like not the response from you, the response to stimuli. So having that as the measurement, knowing that you can interpret your surroundings, and you don't want to seem as if every response of you is a representation of exactly how you feel about something, you know? That isn't the message you want to convey. So you know that is the determination of your commitment to things that you've worked on, because you love being nurtured on understanding the problems, but you don't want to seem problem oriented, because you learn from solving. And what do? You have to have a well-rounded intake of liquid. You want to have a well-rounded intake of liquid. And also the Four of Swords. There's a shift in intake. Even if you don't totally change something, there's something that has to be incorporated into your intake that is green. So make sure that you are doing those things. And that right there is the measurement, the Queen of Pentacles and the Two of Pentacles, the timing, your minutes, hours, and seconds, because also what do you commit to memory? And from what viewpoint do you do things to create some type of mechanism? So it's more so, how do you measure when it's time for your input? So your input is always valued. So make sure you're inputting into your life. All right? And when you need to have that self-love to define standards, because those standards will keep you from having that Four of Wands is with the Hermit. You know that you'll be rooted and committed because your intentions are pure. Your intentions are pure. Namaste. And when your intentions are completely, thank you, God. When your intentions are completely pure, when your intentions are completely pure, when there is no type of guarantee that the environment isn't going to completely look at all your accomplishments as if they're not preferred, and it's not the you know exactly what your worth is, and you won't give your worth over to anyone. Because in the past, you've seen that when you actually held on to your standard, the Queen of Pentacles was there. You didn't require the argument. You just know that there are different commitments, that there was love, that now are the Three of Swords, and the Four of Swords is calling you to make that same change. Because your actual, one second. So yeah, it's to the point where you might need to just move around, dance a little bit. That low self-esteem, that lack of self-worth and whatnot. People in the past have made you exhibit that in order to be victorious and prove a point. Not even victorious, in order to prove a point and play on your heart chakra. And your victories in the past actually consist of how many times you didn't let that break you. Although now your maturity asks, was it even necessary, So you have to know how to prefer a different type of esteem. And it's always only after you've given so much, energetically, that the true colors come through. That's the true colors, And so knowing that the moon is showing you how to have the better sacral chakra, because your sacral and your solar plexus are being utilized as the passions of others. And it's always in the Two of Pentacles, give me this and I'll give you that. But this for you is your solar and your sacral chakra. And it's disconnecting the moons, and it's creating different type of ties where you feel tied to it, where the song of your true self-esteem and your worth, your emotions, your energy, your creativity, your self-worth times double, and your physical needs. So you may be seeing it in your lymph nodes that's presenting it. And you have to feel optimistic, energetic, seeking out pleasurable experiences. When the sacral chakra is weak, you might feel emotionally flat, bored at work, or have lack of pleasure, And it could become blocked by habits or imbalances in the body, mind, and soul. So you have the body, the mind, and the soul that's going to help you remember. You pick your crown up. You keep your crown on. You understand that it's better to put a crown on a new accomplishment as opposed to go into a form of degradation that makes people judge what they can't pretty much care for. You know, their care is literally the recreation of time before a person thought that there was no one to value that time with them. So they're memory creations. And even if it's not memory creations, it's a proper care of the time spent. So you want to have some type of a safe departure where no matter what, you're not bound to, even if uncomfortable memories were unexpected, you're not expected to hear about them later on because you weren't by yourself. And that's when you're going to see the measure. You're going to see that measure. You don't want to be with people that completely bring up, it's all right if they bring up your triumphant adversities because you seem heroic, you know, in comparison and contrast to where you thought you'd be. Because you might have faced something that completely was earth-shattering to you. You know, you felt lifted off the ground and forced to stand in a different coordinate. And now you coordinate your life with a different type of happiness and a different type of audacity that, no, you know, where you used to be quiet is where you're not quiet. And it's because of being that smart. You have to stay that smart. You have to go rum and protect your chakras and know that the divine Mother Earth is because it's all linked together when it comes to that particular solar chakra, you know. So having that as a necessity, it understands that when one emotion is trying to take precedence and then there's a different type of movement energetically of the gases that are utilized to bring in a different oxygen or a different movement of time and reaction, you have to completely understand that that is your Ram, that is your solar plexus asking for you to understand the symbolism. So even if you have to get that lotus flower bomb, you know, it's the downward pointing triangle in the center of that symbol represents fire, which can make a person feel invincible or worried about becoming sick. You know, it's about, because it costs, it requires, it doesn't, the solar chakra is what it costs. The requirement is what has you feeling the symptoms of the actual, the honesty and the potential not expressing the extent of how important your intentions are. And so you want to make sure that your intentions are important to where you're placing them, because they're consisting of your love and respect for yourself, keeping yourself physically and mentally strong. Recognize and honor the inner power. Connect with your purpose. Understand how you can contribute to the collective in a beneficial way. It is not going to be beneficial if you do a great job. It's going to be appreciated. Don't doubt that. But the depreciation comes into the fact that when you do something and you do it without knowing that it needs to be beneficial, can you complete it without and not the outburst? Do the outburst, because 9 times out of 10 you're going to do the outburst anyway, because it could have been unfavorable. So you're going to know the script to the unfavorable. So know that that's what you were reluctant to not be required to hear and adhere to. And by gosh, that is success. because you're understanding how to protect your sacral and your solar chakra all together. And know that there's a sense of self-worth where you're not becoming unlinked to the long-term yearn of it. You're nearing the completion of it. So how great is that? And then you don't want to get stuck in that. You want to be able to say, you know what? I am glad. I am great. I am not the pivotal factor, but it's not about where I was. It's about how God has me as I am right now, and continue to keep you whole, intact. You're holy because you're leaving as you entered, holy. And that right there is worth it. So knowing that is your actual, you have a clock, and instead you have like this, your pointer for your clock is like this. It's like, look, okay, now this emotion like that, and then that emotion like that. So that's like your tail, you know? It's the teller of exactly what it is that you're capable of perceiving while holding on to your self-love, while holding on to your education, your intellect, without having to feel like you need to go back in and break the commitment to what you know. You don't have to play yourself out. You don't have to become vain and expecting to get cut off from yourself. You don't have to become strengthened in abandoning yourself. You don't have to not recognize the dishonor of your inner power, you know, because when you're in and near the rising to the occasion, while you're there, you want to make sure that you're recognized and honored. You can recognize that you've respected yourself, and you have no reason to ignore your holiness. That right there. The way that you intend to have resulted as a person that walked towards, ran towards, and moved forward energetically, mentally, spiritually, vision-wise. And you don't want chiron thrown into your eyes, man. You really don't want that, woman. You know? So it's understanding how the King of Wands is, and no matter what, you have the Four of Cups. So under the Four of Cups, in order to get to the Ten of Cups, you have to be in an environment committed to knowing your worth and who you are. Even if you were the opposite gender, you have standards regardless of who you shall be, without having to seem demonstrative about that, because even when you're demonstrative, now you're understanding body mechanics. That doesn't make you ignorant. It only has a doorway where now you have a greater responsibility. And Scorpio, namaste. Hopefully that responsibility is moved forward with care, because that's the Three of Swords and the Four of Swords. And it is requiring your King of Wands energy. So as you have the King of Wands, you want to make sure that the entrepreneur, the leader, the vision, the honor from who you've grown, not just because of your title, but exactly the inertia, that born with energy, that you know out of every situation, circumstance, or unexpected request of your presence, or just your words or approval, man. You literally have been utilizing this energy, and when it doesn't go right, you repair it, you put it back together, and you continue to go for it. And by now, namaste. Start there and nurture it. Get your standards together, because they already are with you, and you're capable. And know that someone shall adhere to them. And that's always you. So know that someone else will be provided with the instructions if They meet the isotope of not causing the Queen of Swords, Three of Swords, and the Page of Pentacles. They can't belittle you and try to hurt you. And you want to make sure you're not belittling and hurting you. And that repels you from the King of Swords. No, Queen of Swords. So, and that's someone that refuses to be hurt and refuses to be ignorant, because it's not in reverse, but it's somebody that's active. So be prepared to live up to your greatness and be an active ingredient in your natural success. Namaste. I'm Dr. Shock Ranger. It's been a pleasure. Be good. Happy birthday.